Hello. Is it Luis?
Hello,
Hi there. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. What about you?
I'm good. Am I pronouncing your name correctly, Luis?
Yes,
Oh, great.
it's a double L. Luis.
Luis.
Is in my native language, Catalan,
Oh, very nice. So, are you from
Barcelona.
Barcelona? Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, I'm Maureen. My name is kind of tricky to pronounce, but it's like the word Maureen. Maureen.
Maureen.
Perfect.
Maureen.
Perfect. Um,
Okay.
so, thanks for joining my class today. Is this your first verbling class?
No.
Okay.
Um, I am in Berlin 5 weeks ago.
Great. And how do you like it?
Yes, I like it very much.
I
It's
think,
it's fantastic for to improve my English.
yes, it's a great resource, and it's so wonderful that we can study with people from all over the world.
Yes.
Hmm. And it looks like we have another student here, so it's very nice to meet you, Luis.
Uh, Nice to meet you too.
And we've got Francisco. Hi there, Francisco. Can you hear me?
Hi,
How are you?
fine, thank you.
And where are you from, Francisco?
I'm from Portugal.
Oh, welcome to my class. I'm
Thank you.
Maur I'm Maureen, and I don't think we've met before.
Yes, is the first time uh, I accessed your class.
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And we've got Laszlo here. Hi, Laszlo. How are you?
Hi, Maureen. Nice. Fine, thank you. And you?
Good. It's a nice day. It's a little cloudy here, but that's okay because I have to be inside teaching, so it's better when the weather is not very nice to be indoors. And how are things in Hungary?
The weather is beautiful. It's a sunshine
Mhm.
today.
Is May a nice month in Budapest?
Yes, it's early summer in
Hmm.
Budapest.
Yes, I love the early summer in Europe. It's a beautiful time of year.
Mhm.
Okay, and we got Renata here with us too. Hi, Renata.
Hello, Maureen.
How are
Nice
you?
to see you again.
Nice to
Hi,
see you.
great.
And how are things in Brazil? That's where you are, right? Brazil?
Yes, I'm from Brazil. Oh, it's cool. It's okay. And now it's raining a lot,
Hmm. Well,
but it's
that's
okay.
good. If you need the rain, we need it here in California.
Yeah?
Can you
Why?
send some rain our way? We're
Uh,
have we're having a drought. You know this word?
oh, yes.
Hmm. So we need the rain. It's too dry here, and our crops are not growing like they normally do.
Yes, here in my city too.
Hmm.
So this rain is really welcome.
Yes. We have a cloudy day here in California, and everyone is crossing their fingers for rain. That's how we. Do you cross your fingers in Brazil?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. How about in Spain? Luis, does anyone cross their fingers for good luck?
Yes, we cross our fingers
Hmm.
and we touch wooden.
Yes, we do that too. Knock on wood. Yeah, that's
Yes.
for good luck. How interesting that we do the same things. How about you, Laszlo? What do you do in Hungary? Do you cross your fingers for good luck? Do you knock wood?
Pardon?
When you want good luck, is there something special you do? Like in the United States, we cross our fingers for good luck.
Uh, good luck is I don't know this expression.
Okay, so luck is
We don't use it.
like your fortune. If you want good things to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So you're like, I hope, I hope, I hope.
I don't know this finger situation.
So yeah, it's a way to show that you're wishing for something, wishing for good luck. And how about in Portugal, Francisco? Do you also cross your fingers?
Yes. When I tell a lie.
Oh yes, we do that
Uh,
too. And it means it's not
yes.
really a lie, right? You hold it behind your back.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I want to get started. Not everyone is in the class yet, but let's get started with our subject today, and hopefully they can join in. So today's class is a beginner class. It's a grammar-focused class on a tricky idea that's subject-verb agreement. So our subject is going to be what the sentence is about, the person or the thing that the sentence is about, and it's usually a noun. And the verb is obviously going to be a verb, and it's whether or not those two sort of match each other. If the subject matches the verb, and if the verb is conjugated to match the subject. So most of you probably know that English is pretty simple when it comes to verb conjugation. We tend to have verbs that conjugate, and they maybe change one time. They have one ending. And who knows which verb form changes? We've got first person singular, second person singular, third person singular. Which one changes?
Third person. Third person.
That's right. In the third person, in the present tense, the third person verb changes. And how does it change, Luis? Let's say, for example, I say the verb talk. I talk, you talk, he or she
Talks.
talks.
Yes. With S.
Exactly. We add an S. So this is where the tricky part comes in, adding that S. And what's difficult about subject-verb agreement is when you include more than one subject. Do you make it plural, or do you keep it singular? So we're going to practice that today. I'm going to give you a link in the group chat. So for those of you who are new to my class, can you click on the blue chat button in the top left-hand corner? And you'll see the chat where I typed a couple of words. Okay? And I'm going to send the link now. Let's see here. I have two ones for us to practice. Okay, the link is now in the chat. And this is for part one. Okay, we're going to do two parts today. This one is the more simple part. So this should be familiar to you if you've taken any English courses. And if you haven't, they explain the rules in the top of the document. So can everyone see the link to the Google Docs document?
Yes.
Okay, Luis?
Yes, I can.
Laszlo?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Renata, do you see it?
Yes, yes, I can.
And Francisco, you found it?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so click on that link and it'll take you to a page on Google Docs that is an example of subject-verb agreement. So we're going to go over the rules and then I'm going to give you some time to complete the exercises, okay? So don't look at the exercises just yet. You will have time to complete those. So at the very top of the page you can see subject-verb agreement, rules for subject-verb agreement. The number one rule of subject-verb agreement in English is a verb agrees with its subject in number. That means whether it's plural or singular, it agrees with it in number. So singular subjects take singular verbs. For example, the car stays in the garage, or the flower smells good. So we know that this singular subject is third person singular, and therefore we have to add that S that Luis was referring to. We add the S to the verb, stay and smell. And Renata, can you read the next section for me about there is an old saying? I'm going to turn on my screen share so you can see this. Oh, Renata left. Oops. Okay, let's hear from Laszlo, please. Can you read the section on there is an old saying?
There is an old saying, opposites attract. The rule for singular and plural verbs is just the opposite of the rule for singular and plural nouns. Remember this when you match subject and verbs. You might guess that stays and smells are plural verbs because they end in S. They aren't. Both stays and smells are singular verbs.
Okay, they're singular verbs because they refer to a singular subject. And it seems like they might be plurals because they add the S. And this is where it gets confusing. When you add an S to a verb, it does not make it plural, unlike adding S to a noun. And let's see, rule number 2. Can I have Francisco, can you read rule number 2, please?
Rule number 2, the number of subject, singular or plural, is not changed by words that come between the subject and the verb.
Good, okay. So I'll read that again. Rule number 2, the number of the subject, singular or plural, is not changed by words that come between the subject and the verb. So a good example of this is one of the eggs is broken. The subject is not eggs, it's one. That would be singular. So here they explain of the eggs is a prepositional phrase, a phrase built around the preposition of. The subject one and the verb is are both singular. It says to mentally omit, which is just a fancy way of saying forget the prepositional phrase to make the subject-verb agreement easier to make. Okay, so the point of all of this is, oh, and we have Adela with us. Hi, Adela. How are you? I'm going to paste the link again so that Adela can join us. Okay, so the point is, when you are looking at a subject-verb agreement quiz question, identify the subject and identify is it singular or plural, and then it will be very easy for you to tell if it should be with an S or without an S. Okay, so next I'm going to give you each, I'm going to say, let's see, there's 10 exercises in the document. So I'm going to give you, let's say, about 10 to 12 minutes to complete this exercise. Okay, so I'll give you 10 minutes, and in 10 minutes we'll discuss the answers to this first group of exercises. These ones should not be too tricky, but remember to refer to the rules. Okay, so everyone will come back together in 10 minutes and discuss these exercises. So please complete numbers 1 through 10. Okay, is everyone finished?
Yes?
Okay, Renata's finished. This looks like Adela and Laszlo. Have you completed the exercises?
I've completed.
Wonderful. And how about you, Francisco? Are you ready to discuss them? Okay. Francisco, to turn on your sound, just go up to the top of the screencast and click on the microphone button.
Yes.
There you go. Okay, so let's discuss the results of the exercise. Can I get a volunteer to read exercise number 1?
Your friend talk too much.
Okay, so what's the answer to that one?
Talk
Okay,
the fast.
so Adela says your friend talk too much. What does everyone else think?
Talks too much.
Laszlo says talks too much.
Yes.
No, I think it is talk.
So,
Because the subject is your.
okay.
Third.
But could you replace the words your friend with he or she?
He.
You could. Yes.
Oh,
So
yeah.
imagine that instead of saying your friend, it's referring to a third person, him, he over there. He talks too much. So the answer is actually
yes.
yes. That can be tricky.
Yeah.
Look
Yeah.
out for those yours, your friend. It's still referring to a third person, a man or a woman. He
Okay.
talks too much. So the answer is talks. Okay, I'll type all the answers into the chat. So if you need to check your answer, you can see the answer in the chat. And a point about pronunciation is this. For a lot of native speakers of languages such as Spanish or Portuguese, the emphasis is on the vowel sounds in your languages. And how you can tell if a verb is conjugated is about the final vowel sounds, right? Well, in English, think of it as exactly the same idea, but it's the final consonant sounds that matter. So when you pronounce these verbs, make sure to emphasize that s sound on the end so we can hear the difference between talk and talks. All right? So for all of you native speakers of Spanish and Portuguese, which is almost all of this class, I'd like for you to consider to stress those consonants, really emphasize the sounds of the consonants. It will improve your English pronunciation, and it will make you easier to understand by native speakers and other learners. All right. Can I get a volunteer for number 2, please? Someone to read number 2?
Okay. The man with the roses looks like your brother.
Okay. This one was probably easier. Did everyone get the same answer as Renata? The man with the roses looks.
Looks.
Okay. Did anyone put look like your brother?
No.
Okay. That one should be pretty easy, but they're trying to trick you. It says the man with the roses. The roses are not the subject of the sentence. It's the man with them. So what we call that with the roses, that's a prepositional phrase. So again, referring back to the rules, make sure that a prepositional phrase does not throw you off in your response, in your answer. Okay, thank you, Renata. Let's hear from Laszlo. Can you please read number 3?
Number 3 is the woman in the pool swim well.
Okay, and so why is it swim?
Plural. The woman is plural. A lot of women.
Okay, so here's a tricky part about pronunciation. I'm going to help you all with pronunciation since we're here in person. There's a different O sound in the word woman than there is in the plural, women.
Women,
Okay?
yes, yes.
Women. So
Excuse.
it's
Sorry.
not, that's okay. That's perfectly fine. Please feel free to make mistakes in this class. The point is for me to help you figure out where your mistakes are and help you improve them. So the
Thanks.
thing about the difference between woman and women that's difficult is that it's not just the sound of the A that changes. It's not just the A that changes to an E. The O changes from a men sound to a women sound. English pronunciation, I don't know who came up with it. Okay? But the women in the pool, it's plural, so the verb is swim. Very good, Laszlo.
Thanks.
Swim. All right? And imagine if you were reading this sentence out loud, or if you said it to a person, you would have to make sure to say women correctly so that everyone could understand that not only have you pronounced women correctly, you have the right subject-verb agreement. Very good. Next, we'll hear from, let's see, Francisco. Have you read one?
Yes, I read next.
Sure.
Bill drives a cab.
Okay, and why is it drives with an S?
Yes, with an S. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because the subject is Bill.
Mm-hmm.
The subject is Bill.
What if I said Bill and his brother? Would it be drive or drives?
Drive.
Because it's no longer singular. It's Bill and his brother. There are two of them, making it plural. Very good. All right. And how about Adela? Can you read 5?
The football players run 5 miles every day. It's
Okay.
plural.
Can you repeat?
The
It's
football-
plural. Is that what you said?
Yes, the football players run 5 miles every day.
Okay, so I just want to pick out your pronunciation a little bit. The football players, okay? The word play, it's just like it sounds, play with a long A, play.
Player.
Players run every day. It's plural, so there is no S. That's where that tricky S comes in, is it would be plural when you're trying to make the noun a plural, the football players run. So we have the S here, making it plural, and no S here, making the plural verb. So that's when they say opposites attract. Okay, Luis, will you please read number 6? Luis? Oh, he left the group. Whoops. Let's hear from Laszlo again.
The next is the red-haired lady in the fur hat lives across the street.
Okay, and why is it lives?
Because lady is singular.
They're trying to,
ladies.
they're trying to confuse you with not only a prepositional phrase, in the fur hat, they're also trying to confuse you by giving her this description, red-haired lady. So don't get thrown off. The subject is still a singular lady. Good.
Yes.
And Renata, I'm sure this one, number 7.
Okay. He cooks dinner for his family.
So he, singular subject, singular verb, cooks. Very good. Now I better type these verbs in the chat. Lives and cooks. Okay. And just a quick quiz. What is the simple past of to cook?
Cooked.
Cooked. Very good. I'm glad to hear that correct pronunciation. Cooked. Okay. No student of mine will say cooked. Okay, let's hear from Luis. Can you read number 8, please?
I had technical problems, and I come back. I
Okay.
lost your. Okay.
There you go. I don't know why, but if you join the chat late, you can't see anything that's previously been written. It's a flaw.
The number 8.
Please.
The boys walk to school every day.
So
With
our
that,
subject.
The subject is the boys.
And therefore, our verb is plural. Walk to school every day.
Yes.
Okay. Here's one that might be a little trickier. Let's hear from Francisco. Can you read number 9, please?
The weather on the coast appears to be good this weekend.
Okay, so this is a trickier one. The weather on the coast appears to be good this weekend. That's correct. It is appears. And the reason is that the weather, even though it can be lots of different types of weather, it's still just a singular idea, the weather. Okay? Singular and plural are more difficult when it comes to idea words, and we're going to talk about that next when we finish these exercises. And last but not least, Laszlo, can you read number 10?
It's tricky, but the center of the basketball team bounces the ball too high because the center is a singular player.
Exactly. So if you're not a basketball fan, you might not know that the center is a position played by only one person. So it would be bounces. Okay, great. So those are a good introduction. And the next section we're going to do something a little trickier, which are these words that always tend to throw people off when they're trying to figure out subject-verb agreement. And if you look in the chat, you'll see a link to a new Google Doc called Rules for Subject-Verb Agreement Quiz 2. Now, is everybody on that page? I'm going to turn on my screen share.
Yes. I'm
Good. Wonderful. Okay. So this is going to go over these words that are very tricky when it comes to figuring out, is the subject singular or is the subject plural? And I have to be honest, even native speakers of English make this mistake. So the rule is, rule number 3, some subjects always take a singular verb even though the meaning may seem plural. And trust me, when I teach writing at a college here in California, I see this mistake all the time in native speakers. These subjects always take singular verbs. Each, someone, either, anyone, neither, nobody, one, somebody, no one, anybody, everyone, and everybody. Okay, so I'm going to make this into a list because this is kind of confusing the way it's set up here. But each of these is an individual word, and they all take a singular subject. It's kind of surprising, right? Because you'd think that everyone is a plural, right? Because we're talking about all the people, everyone, everybody, anybody. But the truth is, it actually is referring to each and everybody as though they are an individual, a singular unit. So these ones all take a singular verb. This is what trips people up. This is what confuses people. It seems like you're talking about a large group of everyone, but you're actually talking about them individually, one by one. So the example of someone in the game was hurt. That should be pretty obvious. It's referring to one person. Someone in the game was hurt, not were. Here's another one. This is tricky. Neither of the men is working. What's tricky about this is when you say neither, neither means two. But in this case, they're saying not one of the men nor the other man individually is working. So neither of the men is working. Very tricky. Okay, and then rule number 4. Can I get someone to read rule number 4? Maybe Renata, could you read rule number 4, please?
Yes. The following words may be singular or plural, depending upon their use in a sentence. Some, any, all, most. Most of the news is good, singular. Most of the flowers were yellow, plural. All of the pizza was gone, singular. All of the children were late, plural.
Very good. What's tricky about that is that these words most refer to a portion, or all refers to all of them, but the subject is still, for example, the news, which even though there could be many pieces of news, altogether is a singular unit, the news. However, the flowers is plural, so our verb needs to be plural. The pizza, meaning one pizza, or the amount of pizza altogether is one idea. And all of the children is plural because children is plural. You could not say all of the child were late. Okay, so I'm going to give you, let's say, about 10 minutes to complete these exercises. They should be more difficult than the other ones that we've done before. So when you're ready, you can type in the chat, or you can just wait. I'll give you 10 minutes to complete exercises 1 through 10. Okay? And I'm going to turn off your microphones. I hope you don't mind, just so that your sounds won't affect the other students as they're thinking. Okay, is everyone ready? I want to make sure we have enough time to go over all the answers.
Yes.
Okay, Adela's ready. Francisco, how are you doing?
I'm ready.
Fantastic. All right. So who's our first volunteer to read sentence number 1?
Me? Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Renata. Go ahead.
Okay. Each of the girls look good on skis.
All right. What does everyone think? Is that correct?
It's correct, yes.
Yes.
Does anyone think that it's not correct?
Me? Mm,
Adela, you think it...
I have
Looks.
a little yes, because it's each of the verbs. It's one.
So can you read the sentence the way you think it should be?
Each of the verbs looks good on skis.
Okay, so we have some debate, but the truth is Adela is correct. It is each of the girls looks good on skis. Each is one of those words that always takes a singular verb. Although altogether they all look good on skis, each one individually looks good on skis. Tricky, I warned you. It's a little tricky. But you're going to be experts by the end of this lesson. How about number 2? Luis, could you read number 2, please?
Everybody was asked to remain quiet.
Okay, what do we think of that answer? Is it correct?
Yes.
Yes, correct.
Yes.
Okay, that's right. You are all correct. Everybody was asked to remain quiet. In this case, everybody in our class was correct. And again, this is one of those words that even though you're talking about a group of people, it's talking about them. Everybody on their own was asked to remain silent, each individually. Tricky. Number 3. Let's hear from Laszlo, please.
Neither of the men is here yet.
Okay, so this is one of those types of sentences that you will hear native speakers make the mistake of saying, neither of the men are here yet. I promise you, if you pay attention, you will hear someone make this mistake. But Laszlo is correct. The answer is neither of the men is here yet, meaning not that one, he's not here. The other one, he's not here. Neither of the men is here. Very good. And how about number 4? Can we hear from, let's see, Adela, please read number 4.
Is each of the girls ready to leave?
Okay. Is each of the girls ready to leave? What do we think? Is that correct?
I don't think so.
You don't think so. Which one do you think it is? Are? Okay, so read the sentence how you think it should sound, Luis.
Are each of the girls ready to leave?
Okay, so again, they tricked you by saying each of the girls, plural, but the subject is each one of them, singular, by themselves. So this is tricky, but Adela is correct. It's is each of the girls ready yet? However, if you said, are the girls ready yet? If you took away that word each and the preposition of, it would be, are the girls ready yet? Because the subject changes from each to the girls. So memorize that list of words that always takes a singular verb, because that's where we get tripped up, and it happens all the time. Number 5, can we hear from Francisco, please?
Several of sheep are sick.
Okay, and who agrees with Francisco? Several of the sheep are sick.
I agree.
Okay, Adela
Yeah,
agrees.
I agree too.
Renata, Luis, and Laszlo, what do you think?
Are sick.
Are
Correct.
sick. Okay, I am in agreement. Several of the sheep are sick. Okay, and the subject of this sentence is the sheep. That many of them, several of them, a group in the group of sheep. Several of the sheep, meaning more than one, are sick. This one might be tricky because sheep is one of those words in English that does not change in the plural or the singular. Singular is the sheep. Plural is the sheep. You might hear a little kid who's learning English say the sheeps, but it's not correct. Okay, let's go back to Renata. Please read number 6.
Okay. Some members of the faculty are present.
Okay, some members of the faculty are present. Why do you think it's are, Renata, and not is?
Oh, because the subject is members.
A few of them, some of them, a number of them, plural number. Very good. The answer is some members of the faculty are present. Okay, and Laszlo, could you read number 7, please?
Nobody in the class has the answer.
Okay, nobody in the class has the answer. Does everyone agree with Laszlo? Is that the answer?
Yes.
Laszlo, why is that the answer?
Because it's the first option. Nobody nobody follow the singular verb.
Nobody is one of those subjects that always has a singular verb. And
Yes.
third person of to have is irregular and it changes to has. It's not haves. That would make a lot more sense, but it isn't one of those regular verbs. So nobody, what was the sentence? Nobody in the class has the answer. It looks like that's not true for our class because somebody has the answer, and that somebody is Laszlo. Very good. And next, let's hear from Francisco. Could you please read number 8 and tell us what the answer is?
Each of the girls observes all the regulation.
Okay, so regulations is another way of saying the rules or the laws, basically. Each of the girls, and that was a big clue, each one of them observes all the regulations. Does everyone agree with Francisco that the answer is observes? If you refer back to the rule, each is one of those subjects that always takes the singular. Therefore, the answer is observes.
Yes.
I don't agree
Yes.
with my answer.
Okay, so you think it should be observe?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's the tricky part. Luis, I recommend that you look and review the list of subjects that always take a singular verb, okay? Rule number 3, these subjects always take singular verbs. Each, either, neither, one, no one, everyone, someone, anyone, nobody, somebody, anybody, and everybody. They always take singular verbs. And they trip us up, even us native speakers. Okay, there's 2 more left. So Luis, why don't you go ahead and read number 9.
All of the milk is gone.
Okay, all of the milk is gone. Does everyone agree with Luis that all of the milk is gone is the correct answer?
I agree.
Yes.
Yes.
Good. That is correct. All of the milk is gone, and that's because when you're talking about all of the milk altogether, the milk is still a singular subject. Okay? What if you said all of the cupcakes? Would it be is or are?
Are.
Cakes.
R.
Are, because the
Ah.
cupcakes individually, there's lots of them, it's plural.
Countable.
Yeah, so this is a good lesson today. We got lots of good practice. And let's do the final one, number 10. Adela, please read number 10.
Most of the seats were taken.
Okay, there was a dog barking in the middle of that. Can you repeat it, please?
Most of the seats were taken.
Okay, very good. Most of the seats were taken. That's okay, Renata, I don't mind. I know you must love dogs, considering your job. Okay, most of the seats were taken. Does everyone agree with Adela?
Yes, I agree.
That's true. So most of the seats, all of these seats together, or a majority of them, most of them, there's still many seats, plural. So we need to have a verb that matches our subject or agrees with our subject, and that would be were. Okay, so that was an overview of subject-verb agreement, and so here's, Luis has a question. It looks like John or Doris.
Yes, I'm not sure in this sentence because John or Doris. I think that it's John and Doris. I'm more clear for me, but John
Yes.
or Doris no is not clear for me.
John, individual, singular, or, meaning separate, Doris, individual or singular. So in each one of them, it's like the word neither. They are separate from each other, so they are separate as singular subjects. So the
Okay.
answer is rights.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so that's the end of our time today, but I'm typing the quiz one final time. If you want to keep practicing, here's a quiz for you to take on subject-verb agreement. And I'm also doing a class immediately following this one on idioms that have to do with animals. So maybe, Renata, you'd be interested in that since you love dogs. Okay, so thank you so much for coming to my class. For my new students, very nice to meet you. And I will see you soon.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Maureen.
You're
Thank you very
welcome.
much.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
See you soon.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.